The bigger the lie, the more likely they'll believe it.
Oh, Lord. Oh, good Lord.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 infamous cover-ups that may or may not be true. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're focusing on notorious cover-ups that spawn significant debate and discussion before and after the fact, regardless of whether or not they've been proven true or false.
I think our secret's out.
Number 10. Winston wants to believe.
We shall never surrender.
An eloquent orator with nerves of steel and a steadfast persona. That's how Winston Churchill is generally remembered by history. Many would be surprised to learn that as he led Britain into World War II, he was also wondering and writing about the existence of extraterrestrials. During the war, he ordered a reported UFO sighting by the Royal Air Force be kept secret for fear of mass panic. Many feel this was one of the first times a government covered up proof of alien life. Combined with an essay he wrote exploring life on other planets and his friendship with H.G. Wells, it's easy to see why this cover-up is so intriguing. Number 9. Grand Central Secrets.
Here is his abandoned train car.
Track 61 is a secret set of train tracks beneath New York's Grand Central Station, which were created for the private use of dignitaries and VIPs. The tracks lead to an elevator leading to the garage at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. While many have speculated about possible other uses of the train, one of its primary functions was to help minimize awareness of how polio was affecting Franklin Roosevelt. It was important for Roosevelt, as President of the United States, to be seen as strong and capable, so the government limited sightings in his wheelchair.
But everyone pretended he could walk?
Yes. As a result, the government supposedly went to great lengths to ensure the track never appeared on any blueprint. Number 8. Bad blood.
We are delighted today to close this very tragic and painful chapter in our lives.
Medical advances often hinge on experiments and studies, and nowadays there are stringent rules and regulations about how these are to be done. Rewind several decades though, and this was not the case. One of the longest-running medical studies of the 20th century was the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. It ran from 1932 to the early 70s, during which time 399 black men were treated for what was termed bad blood. In 1972, a whistleblower came forward and drew attention to the experiment, which had continued under several U.S. public health supervisors. All had overlooked the fact that the men were not being treated appropriately, despite the proven success of penicillin for the disease within the time frame of the study.
The 8 men who are survivors of the syphilis study at Tuskegee are a living link to a time not so very long ago that many Americans would prefer not to remember. But we dare not forget.
Number 7. Listening in on Lennon.
Because we want peace, you know. We've said the same thing for 2 years, one way or another, and we believe in it.
It was no secret that John Lennon was fascinated by politics, and that his political views didn't jibe with those of then-President Richard Nixon. Fearing Lennon would influence the newly enfranchised youth vote in the 1972 election, the FBI began an orchestrated campaign to deport him. This campaign included surveillance and possibly wiretapping, none of which was admitted by the government, of course.
And it's very ironic that the government approved our application as outstanding artists whose presence is beneficial to U.S. cultural interests and the public welfare.
Following Lennon's murder, a University of California professor named John Wiener launched a lawsuit against the FBI, requiring the Bureau's Lennon files be released under the Freedom of Information Act. The last of the files was ultimately unveiled in 2006, almost 7 years after Wiener presented copies of the FBI documents he'd been able to obtain in the book Gimme Some Truth. Number 6. A Clockwork Orange.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
This next cover-up may seem eerily familiar. For Project MKUltra, the CIA took unsuspecting individuals and experimented on them to try to control their minds. The project had several goals, including developing methods to force erratic behavior on an individual or to brainwash them to carry out specific commands. Many believe the project was an attempt to make real-life Manchurian candidates.
Captain Marker, please shoot Private Ingram.
Kinda makes you wonder if Anthony Burgess grabbed inspiration for his twisted tale from the rumors surrounding this project. Just to be safe, we recommend avoiding staring contests with goats. To top things off, the head of the CIA ordered all files on this project destroyed in 1973, after it was officially halted. Number 5. Trouble is brewing.
It occurred to various officials in the government that we might run out of oil.
The Teapot Dome scandal is one of the first and biggest examples of government corruption in the United States, and may have gone all the way up to the White House itself. When monitoring of naval oil reserve lands at Teapot Dome, Wyoming was switched over to the Department of the Interior, a few shady deals occurred. Secretary of the Interior Albert B. Fall leased the rights to several fields without engaging in competitive bidding, and was personally enriched for his efforts. Fall had done a good job of hiding his trail, but a thorough investigation uncovered his secrets. Was President Warren G. Harding also involved? Well, he died before that could be answered conclusively. Number 4. Going radioactive.
You guys ever heard of Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that where the nuclear disaster happened?
Yes.
When it comes to the tragedy at Chernobyl, the alleged cover-ups continued to occur, even after the incident. Some have speculated that the accident, which led to the immediate death of 31 of the workers and long-term effects like cancer for others, was intentional.
You should all be glad I have this.
Additionally, it's been speculated that the government continued to hide the extent of the damage and over-exaggerated the efforts to clean up and make the area safer. Still others have proposed the idea that the area is in fact safe, but that the government wants to keep people out for other reasons.
We have 60 minutes on the ground. Watch your radiation levels.
Number 3. Castro catastrophes.
When will your country and my country have normal relations?
If one can believe figures from a Cuban intelligence source, there were over 600 reported assassination attempts by the USA on Fidel Castro. Ranging from exploding cigars to fungus-filled diving suits, they were certainly not lacking in imagination. The Church Committee looked into and confirmed some of these attempts as factual, but for many, the attempts were just there to camouflage other issues. Some have theorized that the government used these unsuccessful attempts to keep tensions high, helping to promote a negative view of communism. However, if they really bungled the job over 600 times, the biggest cover-up in this fiasco may just be how incompetent they were.
As he drove his own Jeep, I sat next to him with his gun in my lap. Why do they need his gun in there? Why am I asking that now?
Number 2. Alien Nation.
Take my word for it. There's no Area 51. There's no recovered spaceship.
Excuse me, Mr. President. That's not entirely accurate.
Just what exists in Area 51? The government's official stance is that the desert area is a classified military base, but the restricted land has long sparked more questions than answers. Rumors of top-secret experiments and classified operations abound. But Area 51 is most frequently connected with conspiracy theories concerning UFOs and extraterrestrial life forms. A shroud of mystery surrounds this Nevada location, even after the powers that be finally confirmed the base even existed in 2013. And it took a Freedom of Information Act request just to get that much information. Before we uncover our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Isn't it delicious?
Sort of cools the ankles, doesn't it?
Huge numbers of Americans watched this play out on their television sets, and the ending was incredibly horrifying.
Number 1. World Trade Terrorism.
Terrorism against our nation will not stand.
On September 11, 2001, almost 3,000 individuals lost their lives as a result of terrorist attacks. After an event of this magnitude, a great deal of time, effort, and exploration are devoted to understanding how it happened and how it might have been prevented.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack.
One theory holds that the government knew the attack was about to occur, but refrained from acting on it. Why? perhaps in order to justify launching a war and invading Iraq and Afghanistan, which happened. Ultimately, because these theories have yet to be proved or disproved conclusively, talk of a cover-up will likely continue.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.